Well, welcome to the Ozarks. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching Ozark Overland Adventures. It is, it's chilly today. I think the high right now is about 40 degrees, which I know for some of y'all that's like real warm. But the low tonight is supposed to be 20 or even a little below 20. So, yeah, just out enjoying a little winter in the Ozarks. I don't honestly have, a real plan today. Just taking the day to just get out and enjoy it. I'm gonna revisit some trails I haven't been on in a very long time, just kind of check them out, see what they're like. I've got probably 3 or 4 different campsites depending on where I am at what time. I can, head off to one of those. Love winter camping. Building a big fire, just crank out the diesel heater. I love winter camping. So, thanks for joining along. I think it's going to be a good day. All right, let's go see what we can find. Happy to see that trail is in good shape. It has occurred to me that this is my last trip for 2024. This video will come out on the very last Friday of the year. And I think it's fitting that I spend this time in the Ozarks. We had such an amazing time last weekend, or weekend before last, with our patrons at Mayor's Adventure Park. That was a blast. But feeling real good about spending my last weekend, my last video at home in the Ozarks. Some of y'all may have already noticed some new additions to the Gladiator, and I'll walk you through those when we get to camp. I'm a little bit nervous about this trail, only because it doesn't get used very often. So I'm curious to see what I'm going to find along it, if the trail's washed out along the stream, if any trees are down. If the sounds of small limbs and little branches and stuff scraping down the side of your vehicle is a problem for you, the trails like this in the Ozarks are not the place to be. If you're gonna wheel in the Ozarks, you just gotta let your paint go. Just consider all the pinstripes memories, and just know it's gonna happen. And this is why I don't recommend people bringing full-size trucks and full-size rigs into the Ozarks, because I'm pretty narrow in the Gladiator, and it's just scratched. The sides are just scratched. So I can't imagine actually driving a full-size vehicle through the Ozarks. Just can't comprehend it. But I know people that do, and they don't care at all about their paint. They also probably avoid trails like this. So, one of these days I need to come up this hill. I've only ever gone down it. Probably should have tried that today. If you're wondering what that squeak is, my Crow MOLLE panel up here, I went the easy way in installing it and used double-sided tape instead of just bolting it under the freedom panels, and that's causing my issue. I need to take the freedom panels off and reinstall this thing correctly. because it squeaks and it drives me crazy. And I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. So if you get a chromoly panel, just bolt it in. Don't do the double-sided tape thing like I did. I bolted Kara's in, and hers doesn't squeak a bit. So, yay. Well, as you can see, the Ozarks are super dry right now. We haven't had any measurable rain in weeks, and we need it. So all the mud holes are pretty dry. The water crossings are super low, but it makes for an easy day exploring. This area is just absolutely beautiful. Like I said, I haven't been on this trail a lot, and it's been almost 2 years since I was on it last time. But that water crossing is drop dead gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I need to spend a little more time traveling the other direction, coming here in the springtime when the water's much fuller. Yeah, there's just so many great places in the Ozarks. I forget about little places like this. Fun fact, the main drainage that comes through this area of the Ozarks is called the Illinois Bayou. And in this northern section, it is split up into 3 forks. That first water crossing that I did that's the East Fork of the Illinois Bayou. This water crossing, and what I'm currently paralleling, is the Middle Fork of the Illinois Bayou. And I will most likely be camping on the North Fork of the Illinois Bayou. And then further, actually it's outside of the National Forest, all 3 converge into the one main Illinois Bayou that drains into the Arkansas River. So there you go, a little geology lesson for you. Geology? Geography. Geography, not geology. We're not talking about rocks. Well, if all goes well, this hill climb should drop me out on the highway that I can then cross and get over into the North Fork Illinois Bayou drainage. Where these Gladiators shine off-road is in steep technical hill climbs. The wheelbase on them just is incredible for that. And it's so much fun. Well, here's a follow-up to my my losing oil issues that I talked about at the end of my Colorado trip. I keep getting asked periodically if I've figured it out and addressed that yet. And now the answer is yes and no. I have figured it out. We discovered at Maris that I do have the dreaded oil cooler housing leak. That is quite well documented as an issue with the Pentastar engines, because Jeep, in their infinite wisdom, put a plastic oil cooler housing inside the engine. You know, where it gets really hot and then brittle and then cracks. Yeah. So that's my issue. I have not addressed it yet because I've only been back from Maris for a week and a half, 2 weeks, not quite 2 weeks. And I just haven't had time. So I check it and top it off. But when I do steep hill climbs like that, that allows the oil to, you know, kind of drain over the back of the engine and onto the hot exhaust and creates a lovely smell. I'll check it again at camp, but I know it was full when I started this trip. And it doesn't drain like super fast. All right, made it to the highway. Now, I'm just gonna cross over the highway. Then I'll be in the North Fork drainage. Let's get out of four-wheel drive now. Or four high, there we go. Or four low, bingo. Now I'm ready for highway travel. All right, next drainage. Here we go. Oh, it's tight. Real tight turn. Made it. I don't know if I've ever been on this trail before. It's a real short trail. It does connect to one that I've been on quite a few times. But I don't know if I've been on this one. Well, this trail looks in pretty good shape. I didn't really know what to expect. Since this is the last video for 2024, it's, I mean, you know, being in the month of December, I think most people probably look back over the previous year and just kind of evaluate, how was it? You know, what went right, what went wrong? What do we want to do next year? And that's very much where we are. And by the way, you may be wondering where Kara is. She's at home. This was way too cold for her to want to come out and play in the Ozarks. She's not about that 20-degree low life, even with the diesel heater, because she can't just spend the entire time up in the tent. So she's at home. She said, "You go have fun," and so I am. But 2024 was an amazing year for us. I say all the time, my favorite places to go are the places I've never been before, and I went a lot of places in 2024 that I'd never been before. A lot of time spent down in the Sonoran Desert area of Arizona. We got to hang out with Brad, Epic Family Road Trip at the beginning of the year while Kara was down there doing Rebel Rally training. And then went back in February and did a 6-day solo adventure through Arizona, and that was incredible. Karen and I spent 5 weeks around the Pacific Northwest. We spent 3 weeks around Arizona and Utah, which was crazy gorgeous, on stuff we've never done before. So 2024 was a fantastic year. Of course, the Rebel Rally happened, and Karen and Danielle did an amazing job with that. And spoiler alert, they are signed up to compete in the Rebel Rally for next year. And so a lot of next year for me will be piggybacking off their trainings and going to explore new areas. So super pumped about that. But man, 2024 was just such an amazing year. From a YouTube channel perspective, we hit 100,000 subscribers, which is just a huge milestone for any YouTuber. So that was awesome. And everything, I mean, I do YouTube so that I can travel. I don't travel so that I can do YouTube, if that makes sense. I've talked about that before. I think this is where I go. So I'm so pumped about new places to go next year and share those adventures with you, and hope you'll come along for the ride. But yeah, 2024 was just an incredible year. In total, I think after this trip it will be 71 or 72 nights camping, which is a new record, and one I hope to break next year. It's 3 o'clock now, which means I don't have a long time before it starts getting dark. And I mentioned so many times how much I hate that. And I love wheeling and camping in the wintertime, but I just hate how early it gets dark, because you have less hours during the day to be doing this, more time chilling at camp. Which is good. Well, this is okay. This is a 4-low kind of hill. There. Yeah, I'm not sure I've been up this hill climb before either. I have continued on there and not turned up here, I think. Well, that was unexpected to find today. That was actually pretty deep for being as dry as it is, and goopy, but it did have a hard bottom. I did get out and check it with a stick, and it had a probably about, I don't know, a foot of goop, and then you hit a hard bottom. So I wasn't too worried about it. Man, I love that little section. It is so much fun. First time I've gone down it in a long time. I am very close to 2 awesome campsites. I think I'm very close to a lot of campsites that are awesome. But 2 specifically I have in mind to camp at tonight. I just don't know which one I want to go to. We'll see. Well, I made it to camp, and man, this place is gorgeous. Very low water, obviously, but just enough that you can hear the water rolling over the rocks right down there. So that'll be real nice tonight. Didn't know about the tree, so that's kind of a bummer. But look at all the firewood, so that'll come in handy. I mentioned earlier about some updates to the Gladiator. Let me show those to you. New front and rear bumpers from Artec Industries. I love this thing. It's got the aluminum bash plate on the front. I thought about color matching that, but I thought it's just going to get banged up on the rocks, so there's no point. So I left it raw aluminum. I really like the look of it. But it has a recessed winch mount, which is a big deal to me. Keeps plenty of airflow going where it's supposed to be over the radiator. Also installed some of the other diode dynamics lights that I've got. I just really love the look of this bumper. And the skid plate under here doesn't just come down to protect the sway bar disconnect from the front. It actually has a spot, I don't know if you can see it, but it swings around and actually protects the sway bar from the bottom of the sway bar motor. So that's incredible. And has provisions for the factory fog lights. I absolutely love this bumper. And then on the back, I went with their high clearance rear bumper. It's the one that you don't have to cut anything. But gosh, such a low profile. Same aluminum bash plates on the back. Gained 6 inches from the bumper compared to the factory bumper, because this has the option to relocate the hitch up in the bumper, which, if you're doing any serious trails, that right there is a game changer, because it is always the hitch right here that drags on everything. Now, obviously, the spare tire is an issue, and it's because of the hidden hitch that fills in that space and causes the spare tire to drop down lower. So what I think I'm going to do with that is, I very rarely am going to be towing anything with the Gladiator. I have a trip coming up. Well, today's Thursday. I leave on Wednesday to go down to Big Bend National Park down in Texas with my bike. I've got a KTM 690, and me and some friends are going to do the brand new Big Bend BDR. So that video is actually coming. So hope you're okay with some adventure riding motorcycle content on the channel, because I am going to film that trip. So as soon as that trip's over, I am going to remove the hitch, because it's only held in place by 8 bolts, and it fits. It clamps to the frame under, or it's the first thing that comes off when you disconnect the bolts, or when you unscrew the bolts. So when I get home from that trip, I'm going to remove the hidden hitch, because I'm very rarely going to need it. In the times when I will need a hitch to, tow something or whatever, I think in 30 minutes I can put it back in there. So not going to be a big deal, but absolutely going to love the clearance of this thing. And I just think it looks incredible. The lines are amazing. It doesn't stick out as far this way as the factory bumper does, so you just gain a ton of clearance with this bumper. I mean, of course, when the spare tire's not hanging down because of the hitch. But we have plans to be in Moab again for EJS in 2025, and I can't wait to see how much better this performs on some of those obstacles out there, because I have drugged the back end of this thing all around Moab, and I'm anxious to see what it does. It's getting quite cold now that the sun is going down. So, ready to get set up and get a fire going. A company called Fly High reached out about their fire starters. This is the company. This is the fire starter. It's got some wood shavings and moss and wax, and it's supposed to be a completely waterproof and dependable way to start a fire. So let's give it a shot. Well, that happened real fast. That feels much better. Well, these things are impressive. So, Fly High. Like I said, they just reached out and said, "Hey, we've got this new product, and I want to get your feedback." So, I mean, they're not paying me. They didn't ask to be in a video, but I thought I'd test it, and I'm impressed. I think I will keep a handful of these in my vehicle at all times. So, for dinner tonight, before I left, Kara and I went to Nuke's, and I got a pizza. So I've got some leftover pizza, and I picked up some soup, some of their lobster crab bisque. And knowing that it was going to be stupid cold tonight, I thought having some soup sounded good. So I'm just going to warm it up and eat the pizza cold. Super quick, super easy, and super warm. Maybe got it too hot. Does this count as a wood-fired pizza? Kinda. I forgot this fire pit had a cooking grill, so I put that on there for the pizza. It's good. For 2025, the two biggest things we have really that we're planning for is Kara running the Rebel Rally again. This year they really want to place in the top 10, if not better. And fall of next year, so really just 7 months away, our two youngest will graduate and leave the nest and go off to college, and we will begin full-time travel. And so we are still wrestling with what that's going to look like, what the vehicle mix is going to be. Is it going to be a full-size rig with, you know, four-wheel camper topper on the back? I think I would be okay if I got like a Dodge Ram 3500, got the AEV kit on it, and put 40s on it. I think I'd be alright with that. Of course, ready-made things like a Ross Monster or a Storyteller hilt. I mean, that would be real nice to travel in. Wouldn't go to some of the places that we want to go. So see, there's the dilemma. So I don't know what that's going to look like. I just know we're going to do it and see how it goes. There'll probably be multiple versions of how that plays out, but I'm just looking forward to traveling as much as possible. So that's the biggest goal for 2025, is to prepare to travel full time. The water is incredibly clear, and I love the color. Oh, this is something I've never seen before. Look how looks like ice has pushed up the little pebbles. That's wild. I'm familiar with hoarfrost, but look at that. That is beautiful. realized something and remembered something that I'd forgotten. Being that this is the first time I have really cold weather camped in almost a year. One, I love a good wood campfire. But I do not like, and typically will not, start a new campfire in the morning before rolling out. As much as I would love to put my cold hands after putting stuff away, you know, warm them up in the fire, I'm not going to deal with that because then I have to wait and put it out and deal with all that. And that is where the value of a propane fire pit comes in. I typically don't bring one of those in the wintertime because I like a wood fire, but I might have to start bringing a propane fire pit. Just because in the morning you can, you know, crank it up and boom, you've got fire, and you don't have to deal with the mess of, you know, putting it out and that sort of thing. So might consider that. The other thing is, if you have a modern Jeep JT, I'm sure this applies to other vehicles too. Take your key fob up in the tent with you. Keep it in a pocket or something, because if you just leave it in your Jeep like I do and did, the cold just zaps it, and you go to push the button to start your vehicle and it says key fob not detected. So that's fun. That's always fun. You can take the fob and push the button with the fob, and that always works, and that's how I started my Jeep this morning. But yeah, two little things that I realized and remembered this morning. So well, I have decided, I'm sorry about that squeak, I gotta get it fixed. I have decided to head home. I was gonna run one more trail this morning, but I've just got too much to do getting ready for my Big Bend trip next week. Things to edit, stuff on my bike to do, that sort of thing. So I am going to head home and be home earlier than I told my wife, which is always a good thing. So I hope you enjoyed this little last adventure of the year, or at least last video of the year. And so if you did, give me the YouTube love, like, subscribe if you're not. Check and see if you're subscribed, because YouTube has a habit of unsubscribing people for reasons. So anyway, just go check. And if you like what we're doing and you want to consider supporting us in 2025 as we prepare for full-time travel, you gain access to special events like the Mayor's event that just happened, spring gatherings in the Ozarks, all of our GPS data, special content that we put out. Check out the Patreon link in the description. The amount of GPS data that we're going to be getting once we go on the road full-time is just going to be crazy. So anyway, that could be a good resource for you. And for all of our merchandise, go to shopoverlandapparel.com. I'll see you next time. I'll see you next year. Thanks for watching. Bye.